Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this 14th edition of ACW Newscast. I am Hakeem Johnson, as always, your ACW commentator for ACW programming. So we got a lot of ACW news to get to, but as we always do, we're going to call on your comments and answer your questions that you sent us. And we actually have a lot of questions to get through, and we have some comments from our profile and on the videos that we post for ACW. So I'm not going to go too far, but I'm going to go... Alright, here's from 1 week ago. Blood Z 5.031 states, and a question that we gave a question to for you guys next for the last week from Newscast. It was about who would be who, Sasuke Uchiha or Aang? Who would win between those two? Who would win between those two, Sasuke Uchiha or Aang? We gave you that question. We wanted to know these questions: who would win? Why? And why would the other person lose? So, Blood Z 5.0031 says, Sasuke can beat Aang. Why? Reason: Sasuke has that 2004 Randy Orton look. And I know that Sasuke can take ACW to new heights. And as for Aang, I like Aang. He's a good wrestler. Why I want him to lose? Because Aang went to be in the spotlight. He went to some viewer to talk about him all day long, and can do this and can do that. He went for more and more viewers to talk about him all day long, and that's one reason why Sasuke can beat Aang. P.S. Sasuke and Aang fought in the past. It was about 2 years ago, and that match is the most viewed on your YouTube page, Hakeem, even though he called me Hareem. It's alright. We'll see you later. Well, yes, that match, it was at ACW Fusion, our first clip review we ever did. It was between Aang and Sasuke Uchiha. Aang defeated Sasuke, which would have propelled Sokka to come in, and that whole feud which started between those two. But that was still, and it still is, one of our most viewed videos of all time. And you can go check it out on our profile here and see for yourself. As of right now, ACW Fusion Aang vs. Sasuke Uchiha has about over 1,800 views. 18,000 views, I believe. Sorry. So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for all you have done for us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for supporting ACW, because that's what we do. Okay, next one. And we have more on that Sasuke Aang theme, but we'll get to that later. DDL Heavy says, Taker versus Michaels at WrestleMania 25, baby. WWE 682 says, everybody knows that Undertaker and Shawn Michaels would face off at WrestleMania. Here's my opinion on this. This was the best way to go. Undertaker, this is it. There were 3 options for the Undertaker to face at WrestleMania. 1 was John Bradshaw Layfield. 2 was Shawn Michaels. And God forbid, the 3rd one was Vladimir Kozlov. The first one had to do with JBL. JBL made an announcement saying he would do something big. And we all speculated that he would be the one to face the Undertaker to end his streak. And let's be honest, folks, JBL is a great person on the mic, but when it comes to wrestling skills, they're average. And since he's getting through age, they're starting to become below average. Nobody would buy nor even want to see an Undertaker JBL match, especially at WrestleMania. The second option was Vladimir Kozlov. Vladimir Kozlov debuted I think it's been about half a year now since he's debuted. And I just don't think he's the guy right now to defeat the Undertaker streak. He's still green in the ring. He has this, Russian kind of gimmick, so he doesn't really do that much good on the mic either. And Vladimir Kozlov, if you've seen his match with Triple H at Survivor Series, it was boring until Jeff Hardy and Edge came in and made their returns. Vladimir Kozlov still needs a lot of work, and I just don't see anyone buying Vladimir Kozlov wrestling Undertaker, let alone at WrestleMania. And then finally, Shawn Michaels. This was perfect. This is perfect. You got two Texan-born relatives. Yes, they say the Undertaker's from Death Valley, but the Undertaker's actually from Houston, Texas. And then Shawn Michaels is San Antonio's own. So Shawn Michaels and Undertaker will be a great match. We saw those two create that chemistry at, I think, 3 years ago. No, I think it was at the Royal Rumble 2007. Yes, 2007, because that was the year the Undertaker won his Royal Rumble match. The last two were Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, and those were some of the greatest minutes ever in a Royal Rumble match. I have not seen shades of that since I'll go back 98. because it was between The Rock and Austin, and The Rock was just so cocky while Austin was such a badass fighting everybody, and Austin eventually won. So Undertaker and Shawn we know can put a good match. And Shawn Michaels is just coming off from a match last year's WrestleMania when he retired Ric Flair, and quite possibly one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. And then the Undertaker defeated Edge last year for that World Heavyweight title, retaining a streak. So now these two will face each other. These two are legends. Now, my prediction. The winner will be The Undertaker. Now, this is how it's going to go. The match will be a great match. It'll be hot. Undertaker will dominate early. Michaels will come back in the middle. You'll actually see some heelness. You will actually see some bad guy level tactics from Shawn Michaels. I do believe that. And then Shawn Michaels controls the middle, or somehow sneaks his way in the middle. Then the final 10 or 5 minutes or so are epic fighting. Back and forth, back and forth. You don't know who's going to win. Undertaker might lose. Oh, Shawn Michaels was that close there. Shawn Michaels will try to hit that sweet chin music, but all of a sudden, I swear the Undertaker will probably hit that Go-Go Plata or Devil's Gate or whatever they're calling that submission, and then Shawn Michaels will lose that match. The Undertaker will still be undefeated. And that's not my opinion of saying, oh well, you know, I'm an Undertaker mark, but I'm just saying, HBK and Undertaker, while it'll be an awesome match, probably one of the greatest WrestleMania matches, Undertaker will walk out of that match. So that's my opinion. If you guys have any opinions on that, of course, you can post it on my profile or email, and I'll say it on to next week, okay? Let's see. Blood Wolf Assassin, 6 days ago, says, are you going to post XL16 on YouTube? For some reason, video doesn't work on my computer. My deal on XL16, if I do this, then I would have to download XL16 onto my computer, and that will take a while. Then I'll have to upload it again onto YouTube. So I'll think about it. Videos should be working on your guys' computers. If not, you have to download the web player or get an updated version of Firefox or Windows. But try to get that fixed first. Happy birthday, Hakeem. Thank you, Eclipton from Kyle Snyder. My birthday was on March 11th. I am 18 now, and I'm officially an adult, so I'm very glad and I'm very thankful that I turned 18, and I'm glad that you guys were able to support. Alex the Lizard King, 4 days ago, says, how do you feel about the WWE changing Cena's finisher from the FU to the Attitude Adjustment? Well, I was actually joking with this with my brothers, because actually, I think it was last week, my brothers we were watching, I believe it was John Cena in a match. John Cena was facing somebody. I forget who it was. And I told my brothers, you know, hey, did you know John Cena changed his finisher name from the FU to Attitude Adjustment? And then they like, why? And then I was like, well, WWE's gone PG now. So they were like, nah. And then I told them, no, listen, wait till they get into the heavy position. And then they said Attitude Adjustment. I'm like, wow. So my opinion on the Attitude Adjustment is, come on. What's next? What's next? Are Divas gonna have to wrestle in business suits now because whatever they're wearing now is too revealing? I mean, Melina's still doing her entrance. I mean, even though we don't get to see behind that much, but she's still doing her entrance. I mean, what's next? Is the Undertaker gonna have to be restricted because of his darkness? I mean, is Miz and Morrison gonna have to downplay their stuff because they're hitting on chicks? I mean, I can see why the WWE is doing this PG thing because there's no competition and they want to appeal to the kids base. But you could have easily done that even with your TV-14 rating. And besides, today's society, today's generation of kids are looking for the violence. That's why UFC has surged. No, not even UFC. That's why the MMA genre has surged, has increased by the dozens. No, not even by the dozens, by the millions. I mean, UFC 100 has just announced that Frank Mir will go one-on-one against Brock Lesnar in their main event. That is scheduled to happen. That is an official main event at UFC 100, the 100th event of UFC. And I can tell you that that'll draw a lot. And people are not worried. People are not worried that PG this, PG that. They want to see some blood and violence. Because unfortunately, that is what our generation is all about. And if you cannot deliver that, then people are going to tune out just like that. They will tune out very quickly. I was actually thinking this is where TNA should kind of capitalize on this. TNA should start doing more of the hardcore matches. Start doing more of these Start using more of the profanity. Start using more of the blood. Start using more of the, just using some of more of the explicit images. Stop bleeping up stuff. Now for your divas, now for your knockouts division, if your knockouts division is saying you're not like divas, obviously don't do any bra and panties or stuff like that. But because honestly, you can go to the internet or TV and watch that kind of crap. But honestly, TNA, this could be a perfect time for TNA to rise up and become that extreme, that alternate wrestling promotion that it keeps claiming to be. So, you know, my opinion is WWE changing the Cena finisher from the FU to Attitude Adjustment. It's just stupid. I mean, you couldn't get a better name than Attitude Adjustment, really. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I think kids understand what the FU means. I mean, kids that are 8 years old or 9 years old are even learning what cuss words are. So, it's really pointless at this point. The 90s exposed all that. The 90s really, the 80s and 90s, to be honest with you. I put more on the 90s because I was living in that era, and because it wasn't so conservative there as it was in the 80s. But, you know, both those eras kind of exposed all the extremes that America has to offer. And now we're kind of seeing to put that in the norm. We're in the 2000s now. We're in the new millennium, and now we're like putting all that as the normality here. So it's just retarded, you know. Blue Angel 5225 said 3 days ago, I'm glad ACW is back on YouTube, but is returning to YouTube worth the risk? And do you think another major anime star will be debuting on ACW pretty soon? How about Train Hartnett from Black Cat? Well, I obviously don't know who that is, but I'll search up YouTube and see who's that. Yes, I am back on YouTube. Is it worth the risk? Yeah, because I have fans on YouTube. I have YouTube fans that cannot be shunned just because of WMG's stupidity, just because of Warner Music Group's stupidity, just because of YouTube's, bitchified stupidity. Because basically YouTube is being WMG's bitch right now. Because WMG's having a bitch fit about all these songs being used, and YouTube not wanting to lose a valuable member such as Warner Music Group is just pretty much giving out, just like a girl on the first night. So basically, I just don't see why music cannot be art. Music is art. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. Music is art. You can't put a price on art. You can't sell art. You can't own art. Art is you, basically. But nonetheless, you know, I'm just a YouTuber. What can I say about it? And then finally, for my comments of this week, Big EOT3 says, will you pay tribute to Andrew Tess Martin? I will on the next episode of Excel. Obviously, I uploaded ACW Impulse tonight, so I wasn't able to put a tribute there, but I will on Excel. My thoughts on this is, it's sad. I was very shocked when I read the news. I was very disappointed. Andrew Martin Test, if you guys don't know, is Test from the WWE, and he was also known as the Punisher in TNA because he was there for about 2 months or so. To me, Test wasn't necessarily one of the best workers at his time, even at his prime. But Test was considered one of the best big guys out there. He made the full Nelson moves a very innovative way. Test was big once he was in the whole Triple H Stephanie McMahon wedding. You know the one I'm talking about, the one where Triple H drunked out Stephanie and they got married, which started the whole McMahon Helmsley faction or whatever it was. Then Test teamed up with Albert, who's now Giant Bernard in Japan now. But Test used to team up with Albert along with Trish Stratus that created TNA. Not the promotion, but the tag team. One of the best tag teams at his time. And then Test had and also, people don't really remember this much, but I do. But during the Alliance, Test used to team up with Booker T. And they were actually a good tag team. I used to enjoy them. That's where Test, I thought, would rise up again. It just seemed at the times they didn't know what to do with Test. And then afterwards, Test got one more chance, and it was when he was feuding with Scott Steiner. I thought Test would be somewhat of a, maybe have held the WWE title once in his career. But unfortunately not. And unfortunately that's not going to happen now. But it's just sad to see, I believe Test was 34 years old when he passed away on Friday. I believe it was on Friday the 13th. So say what you will about that. I won't say anything. But Test passing away at 33, and it was on the day 4 days before his birthday. So he was 33 because he would have been 34 4 days later. So Test passed away at 33. Unfortunately, this is just adding another wrestler that dies before 50. I mean, look at all the other wrestling greats. Kurt Hennig died before 50. Rick Rude died before 50. Brian Pillman died before 50. Owen Hart died before 50. But even though Owen Hart's case was more accidental, Crash Holly, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, these guys dying before 50 is just ridiculous. And I was only naming the top ones right there. There's even more going down the line. Louis Spicoli, who else? Who else was it? Johnny Grunge, I believe, was one of them. Miss Elizabeth, Sherry Martel, all these greats and all these wrestlers dying at an early age, and it's just sad. Unfortunately, and you all know this, unfortunately, all the news media, NBC, CBS, CNN, Fox News, which is really not a news organization anyways, MSNBC, and hell, even the sports news ones like ESPN, Fox Sports Net, Comcast Sports Net, all these other sports news are going to report this as suicide. We don't even know the cause of death yet, and people are already suspecting that it's steroids abuse, drug overdose, when it could have just been an accidental heart problem or something. But no, it's going to have to be. But no, whenever a wrestler dies these days, steroids is the first answer that comes to people's minds, unfortunately. I mean, you should have been there when the Chris Benoit thing was going on, 3 years, I believe. Yeah, it's 2 years, sorry. It's been 2 years now, and when Chris Benoit died, which was a homicide and suicide, people were saying steroids, when it was actually testosterone that made his level higher than the normal person that has testosterone, meaning that Chris Benoit was in a unequal, unbalanced state at the time of those deaths. So, the media likes to always do that. The media will get their money. The media are organizations, they're corporate organizations that are being owned as propaganda, but, what can you do about it? So I will pay tribute to Andrew Martin Test. I will actually do a tribute video for Andrew Martin Test, and I hope I don't be. And I'm gonna make this announcement too. And I hope I don't be doing this as often as I should. But whenever a wrestler passes away, even if I don't know them, I'll just make a tribute video for them, just because I have that much respect for the wrestling business, for wrestling in general, and the wrestlers that put their bodies and their hearts into wrestling, just to entertain people like you. Test, Andrew Martin, or Punisher, whatever you want to call him, he may have not have entertained you. You may have not have liked him. You may have hated him. You may have not been entertained by him, but you have to respect him for the heart and for the just physical aspect of dedicating all his life to you. I mean, shoot, I'm not a John Cena fan, I'm not a Batista fan, but for goodness sakes, I respect them because they put their bodies on the line. I mean, geez, when Batista passes away, what the hell? What's going to be the first response? Steroids. You didn't know the man personally. You don't know who Batista is. You don't know who Dave Batista is. You don't know his personal life. You don't know what he does, how he sleeps, how he lives. You don't know what he does. You're just assuming just to put your big mouth in somewhere you shouldn't be putting it at. That's ridiculous. The same people that said John Cena was on steroids. Same people, Hulk Hogan on steroids. Same people, Ultimate Warrior on steroids. Same people, Test on steroids. When is it going to end? When is wrestling... And I'm not even talking about normal people. I'm talking about wrestling fans that say this crap. When are wrestling fans going to realize that steroids is not always the answer to somebody's death? Who is going to understand that? So, I'll create a video about Andrew Martin Test later in the week. I will put the video up on Excel. But Andrew Martin Test, rest in peace, and thank you for entertaining me, because you did entertain me. Thank you for putting your body and soul into the lives of other fans, and we will certainly miss you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for those comments. I'm going to go to your questions now that you sent me onto my email now. Okay. I hope I don't mispronounce this. Kyusuk 3Z sends me a message saying, hey, sup? I'm a fan of your wrestling videos, and I would like to know if I could help you make the entrances for your shows, like for each character. Not that yours are bad or anything, I would just like to help in some way. But if not, then I can surely understand, and you can ignore this message. Sure, I would love some help. Sushi X Creations on YouTube creates videos for SCAW, DWA, all these other promotions. So and I created the Titantrons just because I felt like it, just because I love doing it. But if you want to create Titantrons of your own, just go ahead and do it. I may even show it on a show. So just do what you gotta do, and I'm not mad about it. My brother, Game Freak 1984, my main man, gives me a message about Aang versus Sasuke. And here's his reasons. I really think that Sasuke would win. The reason why he will win is because he always has that element of surprise. That trick up his sleeve, like you said at Animated 2, that the CKO could come out from anywhere, even from his ass. The reason why Aang will lose, well, he has a lot of momentum, but always comes up short, like John Cena. Sorry for that, Cena fans, but it's true. Well, it's not so much true as it is today, but still, okay. If they do have a match, here are a few points for Aang to win. He needs to take Sasuke to the ground. Sasuke has been very poor at ground moves. Don't get the crowd pumped up when you know he has got this in the bag. And 3, always watch out for the CKO. Sasuke will deliver it at any time. So that's my result. Wow, well, thank you. Thank you very much, Game 3 1984. Some great observations. I did say that Animated 2, Sasuke was pulling those left and right onto Mugen, which caused him to become the Intercontinental Champion. And it's true, so you just gotta watch out for those things. Can you make a... Okay, sorry. Michael Hawkins, HawkM003 at yahoo.com, sent me a message. Can you make a Ryu Titantron with Street Fighter War by Sick Puppies? Because that song fits well with Ryu. Sure, I will. If anybody wants to make that kind of Titantron, go ahead, but I'll make it too. I'll take requests. I won't always sometimes because, with shows and everything, but I'll do Titantrons here and there. And then last one here. Farmer Productions has sent me a message. Dragon Ball Evolution. Okay. How excited are you about Dragon Ball Evolution? If they make a sequel, who would you like to see in it? Because I am quite partial to Cell myself. Also, do you think a live-action Naruto movie would be a good idea? Also wondering, who is Gohan's next opponent for the Impulse title? Who is your favorite anime character? Now, Dragon Ball Evolution I've never heard of before. I'm guessing it's going to be a sequel to the Dragon Ball crap movie that will be coming out soon. And I can't judge that so far. But I would like to see the Cell saga, because the Cell Games saga was one of my favorite sagas of Dragon Ball Z. And I would like to see a reenaction of that. But don't hold your breath if it's going to be any good. A live-action Naruto movie. No. 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 How many no. Just no. No. Hell no. Naruto, how many times do we have to keep making all these merchandises and keep making all of this stuff for Naruto Uzumaki? A live-action Naruto Uzumaki movie? Are you kidding me? How long have you seen Naruto anyways? Can you believe that? If you watch Naruto and see all the things they do, how do you think they're going to do that in the movies? How are they going to make that into reality? They can't. It's just not going to work. It will never work. So a live-action Naruto movie, no. Especially when Naruto has just been known for 2 years in the United States. And who's my favorite anime character? My favorite anime character. Okay, I'm about to say this. I have 2. I'm going to say 2. One is a little bit weird, and one is something I've had for a while. First, my favorite anime character 1 is Charmander, Charizard, Charmeleon. And I'll tell you why. I used to watch Pokemon, and when I saw Charmander, I saw the episode where Charmander was first introduced. When that one trainer abandoned Charmander, his flame almost went out. I felt sorry for him, and I loved Charmander since then. Then he turned into Charmeleon, which was when he was kind of being a douchebag. And then finally he turned into the badass known as Charizard. And if you watch Pokemon, you know that Charizard was badass. The seismic toss owned your life. But nonetheless, I loved all those 3 characters. My second favorite anime character. My second favorite anime character of all time, I think we'll have to go to Piccolo because when I used to watch Dragon Ball Z, when all the people used to love Goku, all the sheep used to love Goku because Goku would always save the day. He would always come back to life. He would always act like a douchebag. And Vegeta was already one of my brother's favorite characters. I just chose Piccolo because Piccolo was somebody I could really garner help from if I ever needed help. If I was ever in a Dragon Ball Z world and I needed help, I could probably go to Piccolo for it. Piccolo has that mentor type character, and plus he can be a badass when he wants to too. He's not always weak. He's an intelligent badass. There you go. So those are my two favorite characters, Charizard and Piccolo, according to anime characters. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all those questions and comments you guys sent me. And as always, we'll be looking for more of those questions. Here is my question. Here is my newscast question. Last episode of newscast was, who would win, Sasuke or Aang? Who would win it? Why? And why would the loser lose? Here's my question for this one. And I want you guys to answer this question too. Profile or email. Do you think professional wrestling should have an off season? That's my question to you on the newscast. I'll repeat it again. Do you think professional wrestling should have an off season? The reason why I asked that question is because there have been a lot of questions about it due to all these steroid charges, due to all these injuries happening in the WWE. People are wondering that maybe the WWE should look at the NFL, should look at the NBA, should look at Major League Baseball, and think about an off season. Maybe like end the season at WrestleMania and start it at SummerSlam. But anyway, that's my question to you. Do you think professional wrestling, WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, all those promotions should have an off season? Email your answer to me and I'll read it to you on the next newscast. Now, we got some news. ACW Impulse was posted today. If you've seen ACW Impulse, I believe 24, yes. If you've seen ACW Impulse 24, you know that we have some matches for next week's Impulse. It'll be Ryu versus Gara versus Mugen versus Kill. In a Fatal 4 match, the winner will face Gohan at ACW Victory. So that match will be scheduled. ACW Excel will be next week, and I actually have already started it, so should be great. It should be a great show. I'll get it as soon as possible. The Hall of Fame I'm still working on, ladies and gentlemen. I will get it to you as soon as possible as well with that. And the best of 2000 and the best of 2008 will be soon. Your poll results are calculated, and we have the winners, and we'll post it on the best 2008. Think if we have anything else news. Oh yeah. By the way, anyone who's interested in trying to be a commentator for ACW or try to help me anyway, just email me and whatnot, and we'll work something up. We'll work something up here, and we'll give you a tryout, or we'll do something for you. RCWF has announced that Exodus 2 has been permanently been on hiatus for a couple of months, and that's good, I guess, because Edgar, do your thing. Edgar, just worry about what you have to do. Life is over call, as always. That's a rule we have in call promotions. Your life is always over your call. So just do your thing, and we'll just start it up again. Look for some ACW releases coming soon, ladies and gentlemen. After we've done the draft, now we got to cut a little bit of the fat left, and look for some ACW hirings coming soon as well. And somewhat. By the way, I'm gonna give you a recommendation. I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna be doing this every newscast until I run out. But I'm gonna call this segment. The promotion recommendation. The promotion recommendation. The promotion I recommend you guys watching today is TNE. type in TNE, and I want you to watch this promotion. I've watched it. I was watching its Rumble event, and it did Mew versus Mewtwo, which was a great match, a great opener. And then it had Ridley, it had Stan Smith, it had Shadow and Silver the Hedgehog. It had Baraka, not the president, but Baraka from Mortal Kombat. And then the Rumble was great overall. So TNE, type it up on YouTube. Type in TNE Rumble, type it up, watch it, give me your feedback, and just, just be thanked that I gave you that opportunity, okay? Well, not a lot of news, really. Honestly, if you really think I was just winging it right there. ACW will be back on Call Underground. I had my server wasn't really responding to Call Underground. Now it's back, so now I'll be back on Call Underground. That should be great. And finally, we're gonna have some graphic upgrades. We're gonna do some upgrades on the graphics. If you are a great if you're a great graphics creator, then just hit me up and I'll give you a shot and we'll see how it goes. Okay? So ladies and gentlemen, that is all for the ACW Newscast. I'm Hakeem Johnson as always. Once again, your ACW Newscast question for next week is, do you think professional wrestling should have an off season? And my promotion recommendation is to watch TNE. Type in TNE Rumble. And you should see it and watch it. It's a great promotion, by the way. And again, send me your questions or comments on my YouTube and Vio profile. Send it to my forum. Send it to my email address. And that should be it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for and also, by the way, I will do the Andrew Martin test video this week as well. So don't worry, if you're looking for the tribute, I will put up the tribute, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all you've done. Thank you for all your patience and for listening to this newscast. XL and Impulse will be next week as we are on the road to Genesis and Victory. Animania 3 is coming up very soon in 2009, so look out for that as well. I'm Hakeem Johnson, and as always, I always tell you to stay cool. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Hakeem Johnson telling you to stay cool. Stay cool. Bye.